So I got my hair trimmed the other day, and the way she cut it, she actually straightened it and then trimmed it as she straightened it. And I really liked it straight, I have to be honest. My hair started getting curlier as I started getting older, and I started to kind of like it, but I feel like it's starting to get kind of wild, especially here with the winter and all that, and it's just crap on your hair. So, y'all said you liked my hair straight the other day. I thought it looked pretty good too, I won't lie. So I went and got me a straightener. It's just a little 1-inch Revlon straightener. It was like, I don't know, I don't even remember how much it was at Walmart, whatever, but anyway, it used to straighten my hair a lot, but as I, got older and quit coloring it and just quit fixing it or whatever, because I was worried about frying it, I just stopped. But anyway, I went and got some heat protecting stuff. It's Tresemme Protecting Heat Styling Spray. And as per the directions, I already put it on damp hair this morning, so now I'm going to put it on my dry hair, and then we're going to straighten it and see what it looks like. And I guess just chit chat while we go. So anyway, a lot of this will probably just me be, standing here trying to find all the thoughts that were in my head until I hit record. You know how it goes. But, as the channel's starting to grow and everything, I'm starting to, try to work on more videos, more channel ideas. And I'm trying to figure out how much to share and what to share, how to share it. Because part of me doing this channel is just sharing my experience, because I know it's very similar to a lot of other people's experiences. I know we kind of all go through the same thing, even if it's not the exact same thing. We all go through the shit, So, I don't even have anything to hold my hair up with that tells you how long it's been since I fixed my hair or even put it up in a ponytail. I haven't worn a ponytail in so long because it got to where it was making my head hurt all the time. But, I should have been more prepared for this before I started. Anyway, I just wanted to share, whatever. One thing I've noticed, and it's something we've kind of been talking about on streams and stuff lately. One thing I know we all have in common is music, whether it's the same music, different music, whatever. We all kind of feel through music. And that's one thing that I've noticed over the years, is I haven't been able to listen to music the same as I used to. A lot of the music that not really the music that I grew up on, but, a lot of the music that I've loved over the years has, unfortunately been ruined by different experiences. Not saying that it's anybody's fault, but, sometimes it's, just an incidental thing. You're in a situation and certain music is on, or it could be for any reason that it happens. I just realized I didn't spray the stuff in my hair. I thought I was going to have my shit together for this video. Anyway. Cheers, y'all. I told myself, and see, I don't think I even opened this all the way right. Oh, wait. I may have just figured, I don't know. Yeah, I just figured it out. I was trying to pull this thing off the whole time. Turns out you just flip it back and forth to open it, unlock it. Anyway, a little glimpse in my life there for you. ADHD brain fog. Keep your mouth shut while you spray this. Anyway, kind of forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I started this channel, not just, part of it was just to document for my own self. Even if nobody ever watched, it was kind of a way to start, I don't know, remembering my life. remembering who I was, who I am, actually figuring out what I can do with my own path and not the one that society or, you know, whoever tries to put on you. You know, I always had to be the one to play it safe, whatever, for whatever reason. But like we've been talking about, mentioned on some of the streams and stuff, I don't really have a lot of memories of my life, and I know a lot of you all are like that too. And that's one thing that, you know, the more people that I meet through YouTube and, you know, in the community and all that, the more I see that even if we haven't gone through the exact same thing, we've all gone through the shit. And in the end, trauma is trauma. No matter how small it might seem, how insignificant it might seem, no matter how much it might seem like, oh, it's just one of those things that happens, get over it. Life's not like that. There's so much about just being human that people feel like they gotta fix. You know, and I'm not judging. I've, you know, been on the doctor's path and everything, done everything the doctors told me to do, listened to everything they told me I was. For some reason, it just never fit. And I think it fits a lot of us. And I think being human is about having highs and lows. And it's not anything to fix. But anyway, back to the music, I guess. I don't know. Music and memories. Not just short-term memory. You know, sometimes it's hard for me to keep a single conversation going in my head. And, you know, I know a lot of people are the same way. Glad I'm not the only one. There's nothing to be, it's nothing wrong. It's just, we're deep processors, we're deep thinkers, we're deep feelers. Too much of society tries to shut that off. But where I was going with this, as usual, is that the more I meet people in the community, the more people invite me into their communities, to their channels, you know, the more I see how much we help each other. You need in here? Hold on. Wait. Anyway, where were we going? Anyway, oh yeah. The more y'all invite me into your community and the more people join, you know, my channel, Truth's channel, just the more people I see. Like I said, we might not have gone through the exact same things. A lot of us have gone through the same kind of things. But we all understand that we've been through some shit. And that's all that matters. Whether it's something that's instantly traumatic or something that builds up over years, like being sick. And that's where I was kind of going with my memories before my current memory took off from me, was the more, you know, I start to share my story and, you know, talk more and hear your all stories, it helps me remember my life. Because, like, we were talking about the other night, you know, part of the theme here lately has been embracing your inner child. And I find that the more I do that, the more my childhood memories come back. And then not just my childhood memories, but my adult memories as well. And I won't lie, there's a lot of memories I don't care to remember anymore. And, you know, having dreams lately, sometimes when we're processing something and we start having flashing dreams and fragments and stuff, you know, part of that is our bodies, our minds processing it and filing it properly, you know, integrating it. You know, integration isn't just about people with, you know, the dissociative identity disorder where, you know, they got multiple personalities. Not saying that's not a thing. I'm just saying that's not the only kind of integration there is. Everybody goes through an integration. It never really stops. You know, you go through something, you process it, and you integrate it, and it's not just about, you know, getting over it and being done with it. Sometimes, you know, on your healing journey, 'cause healing is messy, hashtag healing is messy, it seems like, you know, once you gain a new perspective, you know, we gain different perspectives as we age and as we learn. And when you gain a new perspective, then, you know, you start getting flooded with memories and stuff, and it feels like, oh, I'm regressing, I'm looping, you know, this again. But really, it's healing, you know, in spirals. You're healing up, but you still go back and heal each layer a piece at a time with each new perspective that you gain. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I was saying, most of my childhood memories are laying in a dark room, watching MTV, being sick with a fever, an ear infection, strep throat. That's how I spent my childhood. Really, the only other memories are very few memories with my grandparents, who, you know, because they were grandparents and they had the capacity and the life experience and the ability. You know, grandkids, you spoil them and you give them back to mom and dad. Not that they spoiled me or anything, but they were the ones that were able to let me just be slow, be quiet, you know, learn my own way. You know, learn through play, learn through exploration. I never did good with the whole sit still and memorize. And I really think most people don't. And I don't think it's fair, you know, because it's so against human nature. We're supposed to learn by doing. We're not supposed to just memorize a bunch of shit that we're, you know, not gonna really apply in our lives. Not that we don't need to know it, but maybe we don't need to be fed it to the extent that we are. Maybe we should be allowed to, you know, have more, you know, educational opportunities growing up to just kind of direct focus on what naturally fits you. And you can still learn the science, you can still learn the math, you can still learn the English and the literature, and you can still learn whatever the subject is. Maybe it could just be kind of, you know, and I kind of went to a school a little bit that was kind of like that for a little while, a couple of years till I moved, but and it was after that I felt like I started getting dumb and crazy. Shit, that was at like 11 or 12 years old. But, you know, and being sick all the time. I had my tonsils out when I was 12. Tonsils and adenoids, that was my first surgery. And then, you know, I had to have some other minor surgeries as a kid. And then, you know, I wanted to join the Army when I turned 18. And when I was 17, I went to go talk to a recruiter. And they're like, nah, your feet, man, they're too flat, and if we let you in, you won't survive basic training. And it'll just exacerbate all the shit that's probably going to already happen to you. I'm like, all right, cool. And I didn't really think too much of it other than I knew, you know, they don't take flat feet or whatever. They're like, yeah, no, feet are flat. They're kind of this, whatever. And they weren't wrong, because when I turned 18, my right foot gave out for the first time. Had a bad bunion and, you know, just couldn't walk on it, whatever. So they immediately went for surgery. And it, you know, after looking back on it, to the extent that all my other foot surgery necessities have come from, and how bad my feet got and had to keep being reconstructed, it wasn't bad at all. And then come to find out, the most recent podiatrist that I saw said, yeah, if they had just done conservative treatment to begin with, the majority of the surgeries, if any, would have been necessary. I might have had to have a couple to correct the bunions, but I wouldn't have had to keep getting my feet reconstructed. And it was the podiatrist before that, who was the fourth one, since the age of 18. But he's the one that finally told me the reason I kept having to have my feet reconstructed. And the reason that I kept having to have surgery was not because my feet were going crazy, but because the metal kept working its way out. Anytime they put any kind of metal, no matter if it was just a staple, a screw, rods, plates, wires, whatever, it all worked its way out. So I had to have surgery just to remove it. Of course, they have to, you know, break shit and put it back together with more metal until that works its way out. And it just gets old, learning how to walk over and over again. But going back to, you know, the childhood fevers, I didn't realize until I was well into my 30s that how much it affected my hearing. Because I thought I could hear all right. I mean, I knew as I was getting older, it was getting slightly more muffled, but I actually didn't know how much I was not hearing. And not only that I wasn't hearing certain things, but the way I hear certain things. The way certain frequencies hit me, you know, just whatever. And I didn't learn until then that that's really been one of the things that kind of causes my system to be overstimulated and overloaded. Very sensitive to like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I don't use Bluetooth headphones because I can hear it, I can feel it. It's painful, you know. And then going back to my feet, being the doctor finally told me that my problem was that I have hyperflexible, hypermobile, you know, I think they call it Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, something like that. I don't know. I try not to put too many labels on things because there's so many things that just present, you know, they have the same kind of symptoms. I think they're just all related, you know, and it starts with the dysregulated nervous system. And, you know, being so sick as a kid and, you know, especially in high school, getting mono, you know, the EBV, then they call it long or chronic or whatever, but that leads to chronic fatigue. And then, you know, you're left wondering, why am I so tired? I sleep. You know, I take care of myself. I'm young, I'm healthy, whatever. And you really get sick and tired of the doctors telling you that you're just too young for this. You're just too young to be falling apart. You're just too young to be this sick. You're just too young for this. And I'm like, can you know, tell me something helpful? I kind of already get that. I feel like I'm just too young for this to be happening. But, you know, but as my memories are coming back, whether they're good memories or just, you know, more of the bad memories, as I've been going on and doing, you know, more and more work within myself, you know, I learned to look at things with a new perspective. And it's like I've been saying, practicing gratitude. It's not about that toxic positivity, you know, fake it till you make it bullshit. Although there is a little bit, I think, to the faking it till you make it. And it's really not consistently fake it the whole time. But there's times, and it's not that I fake a smile for others. But if I know somebody needs a smile, even if I don't feel like smiling, you know, smile and hold the door open for them, whatever. I don't know. And I know other people do that too. But also it does lift you up, you know. Whether you're actually in the mood, your body knows. So if you're actually smiling, you know, you might feel like you just want to smile, you know. I'm giving myself the giggles because I'm kind of tired. But anyway, you know, I've been in kind of a crappy mood today, and I'm already lifting myself up just by, you know, you turn your pain into purpose. And it's not that you gotta overload yourself or worry about, oh, what does this mean? What do I gotta do with this? But it's just looking at stuff with different, you know, growing perspectives. Learning, you know, that things were a lesson. It was meant to teach us something. And that had we, you know, I like to think of it as God slowed me down for a reason. Because he knew that even when I was born, I had such a fire under my ass to save the world and save the children. And speaking of music, you know that White Lion song, When the Children Cry? That song and video has haunted me since the day it came out. Anyway, it's really about hope for the future. And, you know, especially when you go through a lot of different, whether it's a chronic stacking kind of trauma, or, you know, it's a sudden horrific incident, and then, you know, you just replay it in your mind. Just as you grow and as you get new perspective, just, you know, file it away, look for the lesson, and say thank you. Thank you, I'm still here, you know? Through all the shit, I'm still here, thank you. Did that suck? Yeah. Did it teach me something? Yeah. Did it make me stronger? Fuck yeah. Because I'm here and I got through that shit that a lot of people wouldn't be able to get through. A lot of people haven't gotten through. And that's why I love this community and all the communities that have welcomed me in with open arms on YouTube. Y'all left your light on whether you intended to or not. And I want to repay that favor. And that's where my leaving a light on for anyone who needs it comes from. Just to let y'all know that we're not alone. Just like y'all have let me know that I'm not alone. So, you know, like the running theme is, give yourself a break. You know, rest when you need to. Take the lessons that you need. Sometimes you have to just let go of it all and, you know, start walking your own path and not the path that everybody has tried to pave for you with their own bricks of shit. It's time to start unpacking. And really, before you can unpack yourself, you gotta unpack all the shit everybody's been tossing at you for all these years. Let go of what is no longer yours to carry. Let go of what was never yours to carry. Let go of what will never be yours to carry. And look at the small things. Because the small things are all in the big picture. And most people are too busy racing and trying to hurry through the day, trying to hurry through the week, trying to hurry through the year so that, you know, they can get this. But really, what are they racing towards? What are you in such a hurry to pass up all this other stuff? You know, it's not going to be here until the future, or it might not be at all. But in the meantime, you've missed all the stuff that's here, all the stuff that is here. You know, one example is, and I get a lot of people have too much light pollution to see any stars, and that really sucks. That really makes me sad. But it surprises me that so many people who have the opportunity, who have the sky, have not seen the Milky Way, or if they're looking at it, they don't actually know they're looking at it, or they don't even know that you can see it. And I don't know, I grew up skywatching. I grew up, you know, those are my other memories. My memories of being sick in a dark room with MTV, and my memories outside looking at the sky, whether it's through telescopes or just with my own eyes, you know. And growing up with music, you know, there's a certain, you know, set of music that, it's not that I kept it to myself. Yeah, people knew that I liked it, but there's a certain way I listen to certain kind of music, and I know a lot of you do too. That's how we process. I speak through music. Hell, half the conversations I have, you know, I don't respond to my own words. I'll be in a conversation and, you know, the perfect lyric that fits the, you know, better than anything I could say just pops out, you know, and we process through music, the music that we learn, you know, through Regulation, and Pink Floyd was a big one for me. And, you know, the line just keeps coming back to me. Can't keep my eyes from the circling skies, tongue-tied, twisted, just an earthbound misfit eye. And saying that, because I always feel tongue-tied, I always feel like I'm mumbling. I feel like I've done pretty good through this video. Even though I might have rambled, I feel like I haven't tripped all over myself trying to say anything. It's just remembering, getting it out. But anyway, what y'all think? This is about the best I can do with it right now. I'm afraid of burning it up too much. I don't know. Let me spray it with a little more stuff and then go over it one more time. But, and then, you know, the Alanis Morissette song keeps coming back to me. Thank you. You know, that song where she's like, thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, silence, you know. And then, you know, she's like, how about no longer being masochistic? How about remembering your divinity, you know? Part of that's your inner child, because your inner child has the innocence, has the divinity to slow down and see all the divine things around. The stars, the flowers, the fish, you know? So, allow yourself to just be yourself. And when you start coming up against old memories that you'd rather not remember, like I was saying, mine are starting to come back in my dreams, just in fragments and flashes. But I have a new perspective, and I just see that as, you know, my mind and body processing and filing them away. You know, because when you're going through something at the time, your nervous system doesn't allow you to completely be in proper observer mode. It doesn't file your memories properly. So when they start coming back in flashes, just know that your mind is processing and integrating. And, you know, normally I would have woken up from those dreams crying, you know, and just upset and ruminating about it. But it's just part of the process. And they're just being filed away under, fuck it, don't need to remember it. Got the vibe, got the energy, got the lesson, said thank you, grew and moved on. That's how I'm taking it anyway. So, you know, just like anything I say on here, it's not advice, it's not a lesson. It's just my experience, and I'm just sharing because so many of you have shared your experiences with me, and it's helped me so much. And I hear you all, and I see you all, and I thank you for the comments and all the love and the support. And I'm really glad that there are, you know, people that certain messages are reaching. I thank you all for you. This really truly is a self-healing community. Just remember that there's people that see you, there's people that hear you, there's people that feel you. And even when you can't see your own light, others see it. Even if you don't, you know, intend to leave a light on, you're doing it, and you're doing a good job. And you don't have to do anything different. You don't have to force anything. The only thing you need to enforce are your boundaries and your pace. Because, you know, after trying to keep up, trying to go fast, it just slows me down even more. And, you know, a lifetime of illness, you know, NDEs will, having an experience like that definitely gives you a new perspective on life. It definitely gives you a new perspective on life. And it makes it really, really, really hard to fit back in to the normal race, you know, because you realize that what is the point? What are we racing towards? What are we hustling for, you know? Because we all know at this point, whether we've learned it ourselves or we've just watched it happen to the world, money does not equal happiness. Does it help? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, it helps. But what helps even more is being able to go your own way, walk your own path, climb the hill your own way in your own time. Fearless by Pink Floyd. That other quote, tongue-tied twisted, just an earthbound misfit, is from Learning to Fly. Anyway, the last song I probably recommend you all listen to, and I listened to this the other night and it finally got me moving, because, you know, sometimes I need a song to finally get me moving, and it's one that always comes back around. Return to Innocence by Enigma. And that whole album, Cross of Changes by Enigma, you know, some albums, you know, like Pink Floyd or Enigma or others, they're a somatic arc, a somatic journey, takes you through like a whole beginning, middle to end. I'm not saying go listen to something and it's going to fix you, but if you slow down and listen to the message, feel the rhythm in your soul, move, dance, sing, get that, you know, it's not that you've got this extra energy to get out. It's just that you've got to move differently with the energy. So stay shiny.